Hi everyone, it's Anthony with AJK Beauty back with another video. Today I'm super excited because I'm actually going to be going through and doing an almost entire brand review for Mad Hippie skincare products. So I've got 8 of I think they have 12 products that they offer. My reasoning behind that is I wanted to skip the ones that were in plastic packaging, and then I also didn't want to have to order anything online to avoid the shipping packaging, so I ended up just trying to find everything locally. My stance on that has kind of changed since finishing up this review and making some switches, so I would have gotten those products. I'm missing the eye cream, the face cream, the face moisturizer, the sunscreen, and then they have a new product that they released fairly recently, which is the vitamin C. I think it's like a night cream or like a heavier moisturizer. So if you're looking for those 4 products, some info on those, I don't have that, but I do have everything else from the line. Their cleansers, their exfoliating products, their facial mist or toner, and some of their serums. So let's go ahead and dive right in. The first product that I wanted to talk to you guys about, I'm just gonna go in order of how I used them. I think that would make the most sense, is their cleansing oil. So this is the Mad Hippie cleansing oil. There you go. This contains ginger, rose hip, it's got pumpkin seed oil, I believe it has jojoba oil, and squalane in it as well. It doesn't have jojoba oil. It's got oat kernel oil, white tea. So this is what the box actually looks like there. This product is a cleansing oil that doesn't emulsify. So, typically with most cleansing oils that I've had experience with, you put it on, you massage it, it breaks up all the sunscreen, makeup, what have you, and then it rinses cleanly. It kind of turns milky and rinses cleanly. Because this doesn't have an emulsifier, it's just the oils and some other ingredients. You need to use a hot towel or a warm towel pressed against your face to kind of loosen it up and then wipe away the excess before moving on to the next steps in your routine. So I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I've used a cleansing oil previously that was kind of the same method to remove it. But this one was just a little bit more of a pain to remove. It is just a little bit heavier. It sat a little bit heavier on my skin. And I felt like I had to be pretty vigorous with the wiping, almost like scrubbing to get it off. And with a damp towel, that can potentially create some irritation. My skin usually looked a little bit red after removing this product because it was just kind of a pain. So it wasn't for me. I definitely am going back to the style of oil cleansers that completely emulsify and rinse cleanly, because I think just with my skin type, which is kind of like oily combination, I think this was just a little too heavy. However, those with dry skin or skin that just can't do those emulsifying oils because it just strips too much from the skin might actually really like this. It has a really interesting kind of like bubblegum. To me, it's like a bubblegum scent. And it feels nice going on. I didn't have any issues with the application of it. Because it's a cleansing oil, I knew it was coming right off. But like I said, when you do try to get it off, that's when I personally ran into a bit of an issue. So it wasn't my favorite. Some of my recommendations for alternatives to this would be the Aromatica coconut cleansing oil, because that does have a heavier texture, but it rinses cleanly. And then if you're looking for just any cleansing oil, balm style or fluid, then I really like the Then I Met You Living Cleansing Balm. It's also super nourishing. It smells wonderful. It glides on really nicely and it rinses cleanly as well. So that one, this one from Mad Hippie was a pass from me. Okay, so moving on, we've got the Mad Hippie Cream Cleanser. This is a water-based cleanser that is like a super creamy format. It uses sesame oil. You've got shea butter in here, green tea, jojoba oil, squalane, macadamia oil, sodium hyaluronate. There's algae extract in here as well. This one was the first true cream cleanser that I've ever used that doesn't bubble or anything. There's no, it almost just feels like a lotion. You're applying a light lotion to your skin. So I guess I was a little bit surprised by that. And I was once again disappointed because it didn't rinse in it cleanly. It left a lot of residue behind and almost kind of like a bit of a waxy feel. And it just wasn't nearly enough for, my sebum, excess sebum producing oil factory of a face. So I just, maybe I should have looked into that a little bit more because it doesn't really cleanse the skin as I expected to from my experience with previous cleansers. And I'm no stranger to low foam cleansers. The Peach and Lily Power Calm cleanser is really mild to no foam. There's a couple others that I've used that don't create a lot of bubbles. They don't foam up. It's just kind of like jelly on the skin or like a serum on the skin. But everything else I've used, even that performs in that manner, still rinsed a lot more cleanly than this product did. I just felt like this was leaving so much behind on my skin. Over time, I used all these products. I'm still using a couple of them, but over the month and a half that I was, testing these products out, I just felt like I was building up a lot more congestion in my skin. I felt like I was getting more oily throughout the day, and I feel like a lot of that had to do with improper cleansing or just not deep enough cleansing for my skin type. So once again, if you've got super dry skin that just can't handle intense cleansing or even moderate cleansing, and you really just need something to take just a little bit of that surface dirt off in a really minimal way, then you might be able to give this a shot. But I would still recommend trying something like the Mad Hippie Power Calm cleanser. I really like there's a brand, Make Prem. They have a low irritant pH 5.5 cleansing foam that's also very gentle and does a better job of cleansing the skin, especially if you've got residual makeup and those types of things on your skin. Still, you're gonna want something a little bit stronger. Okay, so moving right along, we've got the Mad Hippie 2-minute polishing mask. This is a, oh, and sorry, I didn't show you the consistency of this because I ended up pumping the rest of it out into my hand soap bottle that I have because I just wanted to get rid of it and move on, and I totally forgot that I might need to show people the texture. So it's just like a creamy, it looks almost just like a light lotion, really. So the Mad Hippie 2-minute polishing mask, I think is also a relatively new product from the line. And this is a clay-based physical exfoliant and slight clay mask. It's got rice bran, oat flour, it's got adzuki seed powder, so bean powder, green clay, matcha, all sorts of really nice ingredients that you'd find in an actual, or in a clay mask. However, this is a powder form, so you mix it with just a bit of water. Whoa, that was a lot. You mix it with a bit of water before you apply it, so it kind of turns into a bit of a mud, but not really. It just kind of is like a grainy, kind of oatmeal-y texture once you mix it with water. Once again, this is another product that just wasn't enough of anything in particular to really address my skin concerns and create some improvement. Once you've got it mixed with a little bit of water, like I said, it's kind of grainy and kind of mealy. And by the time you get it on your skin, it's already starting to dry up. That clay is kind of drying up. And I found that a lot of those bits and pieces that should be doing that physical exfoliation ended up kind of jammed in between my fingers or kind of in these creases. Not a lot of it ever made it to my face to do some work. There's a little bit, and it does kind of mildly exfoliate, but the majority of those little bits and grains were just kind of all caught in here. And so I just didn't like the format of this. In addition, once you do the massaging, a Mad Hippie suggests you leave it on for a couple minutes, and that's when it does that clay mask kind of thing, where it's gonna, ideally kaolin clay, green clay will draw out impurities, excess oil, and sebum, which is kind of what I need. But because that layer is so thin, you're using a teaspoon of this powder. It's not like a clay mask where you're just kind of slathering it on. It's so thin and it dries so quickly that it doesn't really do any of that work of like drying anything out. It just kind of sits on the skin, almost like a weird kind of film, without really removing impurities, or at least in a noticeable way. Like, a lot of times with those stronger clay masks that are, great for oily skin, you can almost see the dots of oil and stuff that are being kind of excised from the skin. You don't get any of that with this. It's just this weird kind of film, and once again, really weird to rinse off. It kind of has this kind of tacky, almost plasticky kind of feel, and after completely rinsing it, the beads of water, were just running, kind of running down, almost like I had a waterproof sunscreen on. It just left behind too much residue. So between that and the cleansing, I just felt really clogged and congested and just overloaded with all these weird residues after using these products. So this is another pass from me. I don't even think I would say, oh, if you've got super dry skin, this would be a good option. It isn't a great format. I would prefer to have an actual clay mask that comes in a tub, already has the liquid as part of it, or if we're looking for a scrub, then I would go for the Skin Food coconut sugar scrub. Is really great because it's got teeny tiny little pieces of coconut sugar in it that are very, very gentle, and they dissolve quickly, so there's less of a risk of over exfoliating. And then the mask that's left behind, it breaks down into a really nice mask, is super nourishing. It has this kind of sweet kind of coconut honey scent, and it just really delivers a lot of nutrition and some hydration into the skin. So I think that would even be a better option for dry skin. So that's this one. All right, so moving right along, let's talk about the acid products from Mad Hippie. So these would be the chemical exfoliators. I used these each twice a week, and then I had one day of rest, so I'd go back and forth. So we'll start with the hi. I don't know what happened. I've got a little gimbal thing that kind of keeps everything balanced, and all of a sudden it just started dropping and then coming back up and then dropping again. So I think it might have just been out of battery, because at a certain point it just kind of collapsed and was dangling. I was like, well, this isn't gonna work. So I've rigged up a little something here. Hopefully that works out okay. So we're gonna jump back in with the vitamin A serum from Mad Hippie. So this is their retinol serum. It includes the it's the Gran Active retinoid that you find in the ordinary products. I believe it's that same kind of trademarked ingredient. They're calling it hydroxypinocolone retinoate here, but I think it's the same ingredient that you'll find in the ordinary Gran Active retinoid serums. So I'm not sure of the exact concentration of the retinol in this serum. I don't think Mad Hippie discloses that. But yeah, it comes in this jar. It has a really similar consistency to the ordinary Gran Active retinoid too. It's kind of that white, milky kind of serum. And it has a slightly similar scent to the ordinary product as well, but there's something rose or something. They've added some sort of maybe an essential oil here, or an extract that gives it this kind of perfumey or floral scent, and I don't really care for it. You've also got aloe leaf juice, beta glucan, which is great to see, soybean, so ceramides in here, hyaluronic acid, some coconut oil, safflower seed oil. This performed really similarly to the Ordinary's Gran Active. I used the 2% in squalane. It kind of feels the same. It has a little bit of that kind of dry feeling afterwards. It I felt like I didn't really notice any adverse reaction or like purging. A lot of people say that your skin has to retinize, so you'll kind of see some breakouts before things start to calm down. I didn't really see any of that. It was very, very gentle. I didn't have any sort of time where I was kind of adjusting to it, switching from the Ordinary to this one. It kind of picked up just fine from where the Ordinary Grand Active product left off, and helped to retain, that even texture, reduce some pore size. I think it helped kind of control a little bit of oil production. So I think it's pretty close. I think those with sensitive skin, dry skin, oil or combination will find that these products act fairly similarly. I just don't really like that scent. I don't know why it was added in. I feel like it should, I get that that's kind of the aesthetic of this whole line, which we'll talk about the fragrance in another product coming up. So I get that that's the aesthetic, is to have these kind of florally, kind of patchouli, potpourri kind of scents, but especially in this product and one other, it's just a little too much for my taste. It doesn't really dissipate that much either. You're kind of stuck with this kind of odd, perfumey kind of scent from a retinol product, which is strange. So I would absolutely go with the Ordinary 2% over this one. Also because I think this was something like $33, and you can grab that Grand Active Retinoid for $10. So I don't really see the reason in picking this one up versus the other one. They perform similarly, and that one doesn't smell as funky. So that's that. Moving on to the next product we have, which is the Mad Hippie Exfoliating Serum. Hopefully you can get a good look at that. Yeah. Also, sorry, they're doing some construction outside, so they're using like this machine that kind of like tamps down the soil. And so if it sounds like I'm running a loud washing machine, it's this thing like bouncing up and down on the ground. I'm hoping it's not, you won't be able to hear it that much, but I can hear it. Anyway, so this is the Mad Hippie Exfoliating Serum. This has AHA in it, so it's got glycolic acid. It's also got vitamin B5, panthenol, lactic acid. It's got peptides, niacinamide, sodium hyaluronate, white tea, goji berry. It's got Giga White, which I want to touch on. It's also got caffeine, some ceramides, vitamin E, squalene. It's got a lot of good stuff in it. So I really like this product. It is a really light leave-on serum. So this is something that you apply to your skin. Like I said, I did this 3 times a week. It's got a little bit of a kind of jelly-like texture. Almost kind of reminds me of a snail mucin power the snail mucin power essence from Cosrx, except not quite that sticky. It goes on super smoothly. It applies really nicely. It feels great. It almost has kind of like a cooling sensation, like a nice light serum would. And then you let it sit for I let it sit for about 10 minutes, and then I moved on to the next steps in my routine. Even though this has glycolic and lactic acid in it, I don't think it's at a high enough percentage to be that irritating. I didn't notice like too much of like a tingle or a sting, unless I applied it maybe the night after I did shaving, or I shaved my facial hair, beard, whatever, or the day after I shaved. I'd notice a little bit just because, sometimes you have little nicks and stuff as you shave. So that's to be expected. Other than that, it wasn't like, the Ordinary's AHA, BHA peeling fluid or, acid solution where it's just like, get it off my skin. This is much more comfortable than that. I also found that my skin felt a little bit more hydrated and soft immediately after using this product. But the thing that impressed me the most about it is, I believe, the Giga White, which is used to lighten dark spots, hyperpigmentation, kind of even skin tone. I really did feel like this did a great job of kind of lightening some hyperpigmentation I have on my neck, which it's still there. It's a work in progress. And then there's this one spot here from an ingrown hair that it helped to work on just a little bit. I've kept using this product. It's still in my routine, but it's mainly for that Giga White and for that lightening property until I find a new higher percentage niacinamide or the alpha arbutin from the Ordinary. I might give that a shot. But I found this to be totally fine at keeping whiteheads at bay as well, providing some nice hydration, kind of smoothing the skin, just doing all the things that you expect an AHA serum or an AHA toner to do, but in a really, really gentle way. And so I appreciated that. The smell just kind of has that normal, I can still smell that vitamin A serum. It just smells like just a really kind of basic AHA serum would. It has that kind of like citrusy, almost kind of acidic scent to it. It reminds me a lot of the more clinical products that I used to use, like Dermalogica and Murad, when they did like acid products. There's no added fragrance, or there weren't in those. And so it just kind of smelled like kind of that like skincare clinical kind of acid product, and this has that as well. I'm not getting any sort of like florally scents from it, which is nice to see. So this one I would recommend. I am kind of a fan of products that combine both AHA and BHA in one, because it skips me from having to incorporate a BHA product or a beta hydroxy acid, salicylic acid product into my routine elsewhere. But because I do have some BHA only toners and BHA only products, I'm not that sad that I have to use two products. But it would be nice to see a little bit of salicylic acid thrown in here, because then it's just kind of a 1-2 punch, and you can kind of skip from purchasing another product. But other than that, I would recommend this for anyone looking to help resurface the skin, smooth the skin, brighten, and provide a bit of hydration. And if you suffer from hyperpigmentation, there's the Giga White in here, which might help tackle that as well. Okay, so now we are on to the last few products. This is the Mad Hippie Hydrating Nutrient Mist. It's this. Like I said, I was trying to avoid purchasing plastic bottles, and because this looked so similar to all the other ones in its dark color, I just grabbed it, not even thinking of it, because the other ones are all in like a white plastic. This is actually a plastic container, so I was bummed when I got it. Like I said, my views on plastic packaging have kind of all, adjusted since I finished using this, or just in general, so I'm not that upset about it. I'm still going to be able to recycle it. And in fact, this is the perfect bottle to reuse, to put some toner in for an on-the-go mist. Well, maybe not. We'll get there. But so I think I can find some use with this. But anyway, this is a hydrating mist that can be that is intended to be used as a toner. It has vitamin C, sodium PCA, white tea, hyaluronic acid, ferulic acid, green tea, grapeseed, ginkgo biloba, pomegranate seed, resveratrol, which is really great for brightening the skin as well. Beta glucan in here as well, white pine, milk thistle, and it's got ALA, alpha lipoic acid. So this is actually a really nice formula. On paper, it all sounds great. The intended use, which I guess I just didn't realize, is they direct you to spray this into your hands, and then you're going to pat it in. So when I see a mist like this, and when I see mist, I assume that this is something that could be used as a toner or as a facial mist on the go. So this is something I could take with me throughout the day, spray it on to add a bit of hydration back into the skin. That's not the case. It works okay spraying it into the hand and patting it in, but the application or the pump of this, and I think maybe just the consistency of the toner itself, means that this product comes out with a really intense spray that just kind of hits specific areas, and there's these little bubbles that this pump creates that land on the skin and kind of pop, and they're just like, especially if you get them around your eye areas, they're just uncomfortable. It can cause your eyes to sting. So it's not great to be used just as directly onto the face. You kind of need to spray it into your hands to pat it in. Even so, there's a couple other things that make this the worst product for me out of the entire line. Is the scent is once again incredibly fragrant and very potpourri. It smells more like a spray, like a room spray, a room potpourri, than it does a skincare product. It's just too much. It's too intense. I really didn't like having that scent, that potpourri, like dried rose, dried flower scent on my face, and it kind of lingers. And so I just really didn't look forward to using this throughout my routine. And there aren't any emollient ingredients in this formula, so I don't see any jojoba oil, shea butter, macadamia oil, squalane, anything like that that would take all of these watery hydrators and really great antioxidants and stuff and kind of hold them to the skin. I felt that even after spraying it and patting it in, the feeling just kind of evaporated, and I almost left feeling almost a little bit dry after using this. So even as its intention as like a hydrating mist, it really didn't hydrate that much because there's nothing there kind of holding these ingredients to the skin. Of course, if you're using it as a toner and you immediately go right in with a moisturizer, I'm sure that'll work just fine. But I feel like good toners that can also act as on-the-go face mist need to have something to kind of do both of those in one. So this was, like I said, this was my least favorite product out of the entire line. It doesn't really perform well as a toner, didn't really perform well, although that might not be the use for it as a on-the-go mist. And it just smells awful. So this is one that, a lot of these, now that I'm done with them, I'm going to see if some of my drier skin friends and family members might be interested in giving some of this a shot, but that's one that's just gonna get tossed because I don't think anyone should have to go through that. Last two products. We're gonna go from my least favorite product to my favorite product out of the entire line. This is the Mad Hippie Vitamin C Serum. Hopefully you can, let's get that box. Here's the box. So this is the Mad Hippie Vitamin C Serum. This uses sodium ascorbyl phosphate, glycerin, you've got a grapefruit extract in here, hyaluronic acid, konjac root powder, aloe, vitamin E, ferulic acid, and chamomile flower. So this is a really nice kind of a little bit sticky, once again, kind of that slightly jelly serum. It's not totally watery, but it's not a thick cream. It's got a little weight to it. Once again, this product applies really well. It's super smooth. It glides on beautifully. I really, really like how this feels. And it absorbs nicely too. It absorbs nicely, and it leaves a little bit of a glisten or a glow behind, but it's super, super minimal. And in fact, it kind of dries up pretty quickly. It's not there for very long. This product reminds me a lot of the Glow Recipe Pineapple C Glow Serum. In application, it feels similar. The Pineapple C's a little bit more of that bouncy kind of jelly, or a little bit heavier texture. This smells kind of the same. It's not full-on pineapple, but you definitely get the citrus. You get the bright citrus scent. This has a little bit of a floral scent mixed into it as well, although that could be the vitamin A. It's similar in that it has that kind of brighter kind of citrus scent, but it's not pineapple. And I felt like this did a decent job of brightening the skin, giving me kind of that kind of highlighted glow minimally. And it moisturized my skin really well too. I loved mixing this with my moisturizer at the end of my morning routine, or even layering a couple layers of it on at night as well to work overnight. It just kind of brightened my skin over time. It helped smooth my skin a little bit too, or at least give that feeling of smoothness. So I think this is a good product that could be used under makeup if you're a makeup wearer. It performed like I expect from a mild vitamin C serum. This isn't stinging. This isn't gonna, hurt the skin or, cause irritation or sensitivity for those that can't handle those higher percentages like 20% or 25% vitamin C. I don't have the exact amount. And also this vitamin C derivative, the sodium ascorbyl phosphate, is supposed to be a little bit more stable than L-ascorbic acid. And then it also comes in this dark bottle. So this isn't something that I saw oxidize over time. It's just been sitting on my counter. I didn't feel the need to refrigerate this or do anything special with it. It just sits in my dark bathroom until I'm ready to use it. Just kind of sits on the vanity. So yeah, no issues with it. It's got the hyaluronic acid in it. I kind of liked it. I think it was a decent product. I think it is my favorite out of the line because it just it checked off every single box. However, I still like the Pineapple Glow Bright Serum, even though it's a little bit more expensive, just because that one gives you that immediate kind of cosmetic glow, and that radiance is just kind of straight away. You know, they have some more acids in that product that do some resurfacing. There's some more ingredients in there that I think they just highlight the skin, and that product's perfect for before makeup, before going out even with a bare face. I just think there's that kind of immediate kind of like return on that investment of using the product. It's immediate, plus you get those benefits of the vitamin C, those types of things. Whereas this kind of dries nicely, but it's a little bit more unassuming. So if you like that, if you like a more mild product that's not like, you want something a little bit more subtle, then I think this is a more affordable option, and it's worth giving a try for pretty much any skin type. So that was my favorite out of the line. And quickly, we'll finish up with the last product that I used from Mad Hippie. This is their Antioxidant Facial Oil. This product is just a nice little oil here. That includes argan oil, pomegranate seed, sunflower. It's got cranberry and pomegranate extracts, blueberry extracts. It's got strawberry, kiwi, watermelon extracts. Tons of really nice antioxidant ingredients in here. I, once again, didn't hate this product, didn't love this product. The oil consistency is fairly light, and it absorbs decently. Smells just fine. It smells like grapefruit. It's pretty strong citrus grapefruit scent. It's not terrible, but it's there. It leaves that, that oily kind of sheen behind. It just wasn't anything spectacular. I felt like I didn't really see any benefits from all of those extracts. Although they're antioxidants, it's supposed to be protective, so it's not something you're necessarily going to visibly see. But anytime I see a lot of those citrusy and fruit extracts, I do look for, some brightening from them. I didn't notice anything like that. And I feel like even though it's a lighter oil, it did tend to sit on the skin a little bit longer than other oils that I've used. I really like the Youth to the People Superberry. I think it's their Glow Oil. That one almost feels like a dry oil. It has a ton of the same antioxidants or similar antioxidant power, but it just absorbs so nicely. It doesn't make you feel greasy, or it doesn't leave a heavy residue on the skin. So it just sits a little too heavy on the skin. I found that there's other oils that are a lot lighter, that absorb better and still offer a lot of the same antioxidant power. It just was, you can still kind of see it's just kind of sitting there. It just wasn't incredibly comfortable. It just wasn't my favorite. And like I said, aside from providing, kind of locking in the other products as you're, going through your routine, I didn't really see a lot of benefit other than it just being kind of a basic kind of, slightly nourishing oil, or kind of an inclusive layer. So I just wasn't a fan of this one. The smell, I said it wasn't bad, but it's pretty intense of citrus, of grapefruit specifically. It almost smells like kind of like a grapefruit air freshener or something like that. So it's not terrible. It's not as bad as some of the other ones, but it's not great. My suggestion would be, if you've got dry skin and you're really looking for something that's going to provide a lot of nourishment to the skin and really lock stuff in and be a little bit heavier, if you want to go on the heavy side, and avoid those scents and all that stuff, then I would go with the Peach and Lily Pure Beam Luxe Oil. If you are looking for something lighter than that Youth to the People Superberry Glow Oil would be my suggestion. Alternatives, I guess I didn't provide alternatives for the mist. For the mist, if you're looking for a mist that can be used as a toner and a facial mist, I would look at the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Ultra Fine Mist that has watermelon oil and some other oils in it to kind of provide some both emollient and watery hydration. Or the Youth to the People Adaptogen Activated Mist is a really good option as well. It's a pretty big size. And then the other ones I already provide some alternatives to, and the exfoliating serum and the vitamin C are the two that I think I would just straight up recommend to certain people and I really kind of liked. So that's it. Overall, I just don't think this brand is for me. I just don't think that it might have been developed and formulated for those with oily or combination skin or trying to battle with, acne, excess sebum production, enlarged pores. I just don't think that that's where their target market is. And I say that just from the cleansers are just not geared for people that really need something strong or stronger. And the same with the polishing mask, the same with the mist. It just was all super light, super gentle, super floral scented. It wasn't my speed at all. I was trying to lean into products that are a little bit more, use some organic ingredients, natural ingredients, and I think I fell too far outside of what my skin actually needs versus trying to fit all these rules into my routine of can't have this, shouldn't include this, won't have this, and I think I strayed too far away, from what my actual skin type is and what's going to benefit my skin. So kind of a bummer, but I think some of these products will do well in the hands of some of my friends and family who maybe have drier skin, but even those with sensitive skin, I'd say because of the oils and the natural fragrances that they use, I'd still proceed with caution on a lot of this stuff. So if you're gonna go out and search for Mad Hippie, I'd say if you're in the market for an AHA serum or you're in the market for a vitamin C serum, this is a really good place to start. Outside of that, the vitamin A serum wasn't terrible. The oil is okay. I think you can find some better options, but I would suggest maybe looking elsewhere or trying some different things if you're looking for like a toner or a facial mist, if you're looking for a physical exfoliator, a water-based cleanser or an oil cleanser. I think they just missed the mark. So that's it. Let me know your thoughts on the Mad Hippie brand, if you saw some of your favorites or products that didn't work for you here. If you have any questions or need clarification on anything, feel free to leave a comment. Otherwise, be on the lookout for some future reviews from me. You can always follow me on Instagram at AJKBeauty. You can also check out my blog for in-depth reviews where I go into a lot more detail on each individual product on my blog. That's ajkbeauty.wordpress. I'll leave everything for you below. And that's it. Thanks guys so much for watching and stay glowing. Bye.